too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second. Winners win and losers lose. I can't explain it any better than that. I don't know how it happens, but winners win. And if you create a culture of losing, if you keep being a victim, if you keep letting losing happen to you, if you keep letting people do you and treat you any kind of way, it's going to become a culture.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Game Time Brian here. We are doing video number 2. Yes, number 2. We are getting to Jaire Alexander. Jaire Alexander, yes. To me, well, I'll read the story first. You be the judge. You be the judge. We'll talk about Jaire again. There we go. Get my guys back. There we go. Jaire Alexander. Let's bring it up, people. Share screen. Bingo. Jaire Alexander. Strong indications that Jaire Alexander is done with the Packers. Cornerback Jaire Alexander is under contract for the 2025 season, but his return to the Packers may be unlikely. Rob Demoski of ESPN reports that strong indications in Green Bay that Alexander has played his final down for the team. Alexander's unavailability is the biggest reason why the team is ready to move on. We know about that. Trayvon Diggs. Alexander has played 14 games over the last 2 seasons, 34 games over the last 4 seasons, 14 games over the last 2 seasons. Okay. Which led general manager Brian Gutekunst to admit the frustration on both sides about things that played out. Remember, he's making a lot of money in Green Bay. Has made a lot of money in Green Bay. Jaire Alexander, when healthy, is arguably his peers. Everybody thinks he's the best cornerback in the game. Even better than Trayvon Diggs and Deron Bland. They may not have the stats necessarily, but as far as a pure, arguably, I know people like, a Sertan, but Jaire Alexander got paid because he was the best. Alexander has a cap hit of nearly $25 million for the 2025 season. The Packers would clear over 6.8 of that by releasing him outright, and over 17 million if they were to make him a post June 1. Bingo. That's what you do. Make him a post June 1. That means he would still be he would be able to get a deal in place, which is perfect for a aging veteran that that would like to go out and play for a winner somewhere. Or, he wants to get paid again. And we'll get into how old he is and all that. Alexander has a cap hit. We talked about that. All right, so that's basically it. So they are seriously considering getting rid of Jaire Alexander. Now, I'm going to swing into the Cowboys free agents, okay? And what we're going to look at here, Dallas is waiting on Zach Martin. Do not expect Zach Martin to be a Cowboy, even if he decides to play next year. I don't believe he's coming back, people. Again, he said he's waiting for his ankle to talk to him. I think that's fine. Just like with Tyron Smith, let him go. Now, if he goes and signs a 3-year deal with somebody, I'll be annoyed with that, because then you should keep him here. You should try and keep him here, but he's probably going to try and hit the, hit the bank one more time. Listen, man, I'm not going to blame him. Again, he's going to be he's going to be a cut too. Just looking at our cap here, Zach Martin is going to be a cut. Again, it's a void year. He's not under contract, but there's still money left on the contract. So he's got $36 million left in guarantees still. 36.8. So again, it's hurting us. I'd rather renegotiate, but again, you still have to account for that money. I mean, so let me look at let's let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. All right, let's look at Zach Martin here. Zach Martin, okay. He's gonna if he's a post June 1 cut, okay, you'll or pre June 1, you'll have $26.4 million against the that you're gonna owe him in dead money. His cap number will be 10.6 million if you cut him now. Post June 1 or start of the league year. Post June 1, Zach Martin goes to the. Let's see here. Where's he at? Where's Zachy? Zach Martin. Post June 1. Okay. His cap number would still remain 10.6. Dead money would be 9, but he would only count 1.2 against the cap. So let's see what would happen next year. I don't know if he's totally gone. He might be totally gone. I think he is. Zach Martin. So, yeah, that's what you're looking at, everybody. Let me just double check. Oh, Zach Martin. No, you still owe Zach. Yeah, you would still owe him $17 million in 2026. You would still owe him. His cap number in 2026 would still be 17, and that's the dead money. So that's a big number for the next 2 years. That's a big number. You would save money this year, but he would be a $17 million cap hit in 2026, and the dead money. Just remember, the Cowboys only had $20 million in dead money this year. So it's kind of interesting that we're going down this road with Zach Martin. So I don't know. I guess it would be best using that money, but he's going to want new money. He's gone, people. I don't see him coming back unless he takes a severe discount, maybe a $10 million a year for the next 2 years. I just don't see a world where he's back, people. I don't see a world where he is back. But looking at Dallas's free agents here, DeMarcus Lawrence, he's a guy that I would like to keep. I really would. Brandon Cooks is gone. Trey Lance, in my opinion, you got to keep one of the two. I say keep Cooper Rush, pay him cheap. Hopefully somebody gives Trey Lance some money. Eric Kendricks, I think, is gone. I do. I don't think they're going to go down that route because that was a defensive coordinator. That was his guy. Brian Anger, punter. I believe we're going to have a new punter. Yes, I do. Brian Anger, he's 37 years old. I think we move on from him. We need to pay our kicker. Yes. Linval Joseph, I think he's done as well. Linval Joseph, I think, is gone. Cooper Rush, again, I decided we're not going down the road. We bring both of these guys. Okay, we're not. Chuma Edoga, I would let go. Sorry, buddy. Trent Sieg, we need to bring him back. He's our long snapper. Osa Idigizua, that's one. If you're looking right down the list, I would like to bring D-Law back. I would rather have D-Law over Golston because I think Golston's going to get overpaid. That's just me. I know that's weird, but that's how I feel. Osa Odigizua. Yeah, Osa Odigizua, I need back. Rico, if we can get him to a $3 to $4 million $1 deal, 1 year deal, then I would. I still want to draft one, maybe two. I have a plan, people. We just talked about Golston. I love him. We'll see what we can do with him. I'd like to have him back, but we do not need him playing the middle of the defensive line. We just don't. That's bad. That's bad juju. Nick Vigil, Golston's an edge guy. Nick Vigil was a good special team guy. Maybe he stays. Maybe he don't. He's 32. Whatever. Carlos Watkins, I don't believe. Carl Lawson's another guy. To me, you can't have them all. Do you want Carl Lawson or do you want DeMarcus Lawrence? I'd rather have D. Law. I think, yeah. But Carl Lawson was arguably our best pass rusher, non-Micah, towards the end of the year. Darius Harris, Amani Owawarrior. I actually liked what he did, other than the fumble that he cost us the Cincinnati game. Even though in the end it helped. Will Greer, okay, if you want to bring him back. Brock Hoffman, I think, is a guy we need to have back. So looking at Brock Hoffman, Marquise Bell would be nice to bring back. You might see him, I don't know. Cavante Turpin, he's restricted. Wanye Thomas is another guy. So you're talking about Jaire Alexander, circling back, everybody. We could potentially move on from Diggs, right? We could move on from Diggs. Bland, you have Bland another year. You have Bland for another year. Looking at the way I see what Dallas doing going into this year. And going into the draft, you need to fill some holes, okay? Pick where you want to go. If Jaire Alexander is limited, okay, then what are we going to do? Are we going to move on from Diggs? I don't think you can move on from Diggs yet because of the injury. You could. Let's look. Trayvon Diggs, okay? His cap number is 13.8. His dead money is 12.7. So let's say you cut him pre-1. He would count 13.8 this year. Dead money will be 12.7. You would only save 1.1. If you cut him post June 1, Trayvon Diggs, still the 13.8. Dead money drops to 4. You would save 9. Let's see what it looks like in 2026. Trayvon Diggs, 19.7. Again, pre 8.5. Post, you would save 11.2. So technically, he has a long-term deal. I don't think you're moving on from Diggs, people. I don't. I just don't. I think that you people are dreaming. But maybe you trade Bland. You have to. This is why the general manager has a lot on his plate. And looking at my earlier video with him dealing with lawsuits, I don't think he's in a position to be able to handle it all. I don't. He has the Micah contract on his plate right now. The Micah Parsons contract is staring him in the face. Micah wants it done. They say they're having talks, but we've been down this road before. Do we have any? Their philosophy is to drag. It goes direct opposite of what Mike is trying to do. And shout out, I'm going to say it. I want all the Cowboys content creators to be vigilant in bringing this to the forefront. Micah needs to continue to be vocal. Dak Prescott needs to step up. I'm going to reiterate. Micah has not gotten paid yet, or at least by the Cowboys. He's being paid by Bleacher Report, but by the Dallas Cowboys, who he says he don't want to ever go anywhere, money talks. But he's opening up his mouth, calling the organization a call to action. That's what he's saying. Whereas Dak Prescott's saying everything's great. Everything's great. We feel like we can compete. Dak, you have all but $9 million of your new $200 and some odd $1 million contract is guaranteed. It's time for you to bring this to the forefront and be as aggressive as Micah is. Be a leader of the team vocally, not just behind closed doors. Okay? You do a wonderful job in the community. It's time for you to do a wonderful job for the fans and your fellow teammates and opening up your mouth. Okay? It's a call to action to Dak Prescott. You don't want to do it. You want to get annoyed. You want to get mad. You don't want people talking about you. Sorry, you're the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. You signed up for this. Okay? You signed up for it. So, Jerry Jones has Micah to do right away. He needs to do it. And if it doesn't get done, then it's all BS. And Stephen Jones has no authority because his daddy's running the organization. I have hopes that Will McClay will be our GM when Jerry's not. That's all I'm saying on that, for whatever reason. Um, it's time, you know, the time is now. All right, John Cena. You can't see me. Yeah, we see you, Jerry. The time is now that to make action because there are things that need to be done. You could do trades. I don't expect them to be huge in free agency, but if you go get me a linebacker in a corner somehow, some way between free agency and uh, the trades, if Jaire Alexander's cut, then you could bring him in. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? He's got his mega deal. He's 28. He's going to want to hit it again, but again, he's injured a little bit. You might be able to get a good deal. Jaire Alexander on the Cowboys, I'm all for it. I'd rather have him than a Stephon Gilmore that we talked about. Gilmore is very limited at this point of his career. Jaire Alexander is still in his prime. He's still in his prime, and he's just been injured. Not to the extent that Trayvon Diggs and Deron Bland. Let's face it, last year, all the haters can go hit the road. Diggs was playing injured all year, coming back from the knee injury that needed microfracture, that he's going to be out all of training camp. Okay, so, all right, I get it. We got Kalen Carson. I get it, but he did not show well. Okay. And you have Deron Bland, who should be a year removed from that bad foot injury. Believe it was a Liz Frank. Those things are rough. That's like a 2-year injury. Deron Bland was a no-show this year because of injury. Our 2 Pro Bowl cornerbacks were not ready to go. And it showed. And without a consistent pass rush, you saw the Eagles in the Super Bowl were able to rush 4 and drop everybody in coverage, and it makes all your secondary look wonderful. We didn't have that. We lost DeMarcus Lawrence. We lost Micah for 5 games. We lost everybody. Okay, so it was like, there was a lot of pressure on the back end. But give me a guy like a Jaire Alexander, if he's willing to take a little bit less and not go to the highest market out there, which he may not be. But I'm throwing out ideas for the Cowboys, but me personally, I want them to get a corner and a linebacker in free agency / trade. I want them to bring back Jordan Lewis. We need Jordan Lewis. He's an older guy. He's a local. He's from Michigan, but he's made a home here. Let's sign him up for another 2-3 years. Let's do it. Let's stretch it out. Bring him back. Osa Odigizua, okay? If he is one of the top 3 techniques out there, okay, I love the idea of bringing Osa back on a long-term deal. He's going to get a lot of money, but if you make it a long-term deal, you could swing it. You do not want to put the franchise tag on him. That's a no-no. That's a big no-no. Jordan Lewis, Osa, and give me back either DeMarcus Lawrence and Golston. You can't bring them both back. Pick one. I think D-Law may get less than Golston. I mean, I know what the numbers show you, but I don't know. Maybe a team will give him a 1-year high dollar deal and he's going to have to leave. And if that happens, then that happens. I mean, you put in a comment too, you would rather have back, but if you can bring me back those 3 guys, I understand there's other free agents, but they're lesser likes. We can get them back. Wanye Thomas is probably, he can come back. I believe he's restricted. Kavontae Turpin. You guys understand where I fall under that. We have Jalen Moreno Cropper. I would like Turpin back, but if you're not going to use him properly, let him go. I mean, it is what it is. Somebody has the opportunity, being restricted, to offer him a contract. They have the opportunity to offer him a contract. So we have the opportunity to match. So who's going to offer him what? And he was a UFL guy who came in and has made the Pro Bowl in back-to-back years. He's going to make some money. So again, I'm on board with letting him walk. Again, I am. I know that sounds crazy, but we didn't use him on offense hardly at all. So we had Jalen Moreno Cropper. We have a new special teams coach. And this all goes back to Jerry Jones has too much on his plate. The owner is owners meetings. You can't possibly do everything that you're required to do as a GM. You're supposed to be with your coach on a daily basis. Do you think Jerry's really with his coach? I mean, when they're in session, so to speak. Um, I'm sure, Shoddy is meeting with Will McClay. I'm sure he is. But why are we playing this game? Jerry's just too stubborn for me at this point in his career. It's your team. You're going to get credit. It's just he's putting us in a tough spot. But, Jaire Alexander, are you interested? Let me see what age he's going to play at. Let me see what age he's going to play at. He's 28. He just turned 28 in February. So he's a brand new 28. So yes, please. This is what I'm talking about. Give me a nice veteran like lockdown, versatile corner. You can give him a 4-year deal. You can give it to him, not a problem. And if you can get me a cornerback and a good linebacker in free agency, and if you re-sign Osa, I'm good to go. Then we can go into the draft, because what the draft is, like if we can bring Rico on the cheap for a 1 or 2 year deal, I'm okay with that. But, I'm also okay with going with not one, but 2 young running backs. I really am okay with that. So, and get yourself, this draft is loaded with defensive tackles. Loaded. Not necessarily 3 techniques that you can rely on, but you can get you a Tonka Hemingway. You can get you a Jordan Phillips. You can get a lot of big boys in this draft. It's deep. So you go get you one. You go get you like a center and a guard. You have plenty of time, especially if we go out, and I'm going to do a video on this. I'm going to do another video on the wide receivers out of Cincinnati. So stay tuned for that. I got another video coming out. I'm probably going to space these out. But yes, there you go. Let me know what you think about Jaire Alexander, the Cowboys, when he's released. Not if, it's when. And it would have to be a multi-year deal. He just turned 28. So you could give him easily a 4-year deal, and he'll be 32. Yeah, has he been banged up? Yes. But it hasn't been the type of banged up that our guys are. Microfracture surgery. It's just one of those things. I'm on board with it. But regardless, it's time that it's a call to action for Jerry Jones. So anyway, I'm out. I'll talk to you later. And
How about them Cowboys?
late.